it's Fanny. Welcome to another BB Best or Detest. And today we're trying out the IsaDora BB cream, which is a Swedish makeup brand based in Malmö, and it's all over Scandinavia and in some countries in Europe, I believe. It's been one of my favorites since I was a kid. I've been using this, their eyeliner, for as long as I can remember, basically, because it's cheap and it's got pretty good ingredients. It's not perfect at all. It's just like decent for what you're paying. Yeah, so that's what I've got to say about that. I got the color Blonde Beige because I did make a little swatch test in this store, but you never really know how it's gonna work out. Today it's a little bit gray outside, so I kind of look palish as usual when I film in here. Let's see. So I haven't used it before. This is my first impression of this one, so I'm taking off the closer sticker there. Oh, you can't unscrew it, but oh, you're supposed to unscrew it. No? Yes? No? Because it is a tube. Oh, you are supposed to pull it out like that. And then it's a pump. And with these, you might have seen that when I pulled it out, like it doesn't have a long one. So it's supposed to be like standing upright like that. And it actually has a flat bottom, so you can have it like that, standing. It also shows with the text and everything how you're supposed to have it. So when I see these people trying out foundations and stuff with a pump and they go like this trying to pump it out, like you're supposed to go like that and then it comes out there. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good color match. It's probably gonna work well. And it's called the all-in-one makeup, which is nice, I guess. I don't know if it's all-in-one yet, and I don't know the coverage, but it's fragrance-free. It's SPF 12. It's color, care, coverage, hydration, protection, and for all skin types. It's 1.2 ounces or 35 milliliters. And I don't have a mirror, a big mirror to use here, so I'll just be using my Evil Queen highlighter mirror. It works. So I'm gonna go in with fingers on the side like I usually do, and then sponge on that side, and probably even it out with the sponge because that's usually how it goes. So the first ingredient is water, which is not uncommon for a BB cream. The second ingredient is dimethicone, also quite common. As usual with the silicones like dimethicone and cyclopentasiloxane, I am skeptical about that ingredient because, like I've said before, I keep stating that there are a lot of silicones in makeup, and they could potentially be bioaccumulative, but we don't know yet because they haven't been around for long enough to us to really notice any significant effects of it. So that's something to think about, like how many silicones do you really want in your environment around you. That seems to smooth out pretty well, like you'd expect from a dimethicone silicone-like thing. I don't know if it did much for my coverage. You could see my skin color before, like, yeah, it did reduce the redness a little bit, and it definitely covered up my pores. Like on my nose, you can see quite a big difference there. And I think it did even out as well. So I'll just go in on the throat as well. And I'm actually going to work tonight, so we'll get a decent wear test and I'll check in when I get back home. So that you, all my little viewers, or big viewers, or whatever age you are, so that you all get like a sense of how long wearing it is. It doesn't really say anything about being long wearing, so if it is, then that's just good. These silicone ones kind of have a tendency to set at least a little bit, so I'm not really worried about that. I think I need a little bit more for my throat, and since it's quite liquidy, so it might get sucked up by the sponge. It looks like it's oxidizing maybe a little bit, but not a lot at all. I don't know. I'm seeing if I can build it up on my cheek area to cover up a little bit more of my redness there. I'm not sure that worked very well. But that might just be the silicone-y thing, like pilling a little bit, because that happens quite frequently. Let's just put a little bit more around my nose. Maybe on my nose, a little dot there. And just go ham with it, the blending. It does have very, very light coverage when you go in with a sponge, apparently. Yeah, you can see how much gets soaked up in it. So that's not great, but it's also not unexpected. There. So yeah, the water, and then the methicone, and then the sunscreen is cyclopentasiloxane. No, it used to be called cyclopentasiloxane. No, that's the silicone. Ethyl hexyl methoxycinnamate is the old name of it, but it has changed to oxanoate, I'm pretty sure. So the hexyl methoxycinnamate is no longer in the environmental working group website database even. So when you search for that, it's gonna come up as oxanoate, or that's what I googled for it. And that one is A6 on the probable danger scale. Like, it's not good for you. It's the worst ingredient. Even the preservatives, which are the classical ones, I think, phenoxyethanol, yeah, that's a 4. So, and that's pretty low down on, yeah, BHT as well, which is also a preservative, but also an antioxidant. It is a possible, that last one, BHT, it is a possible endocrine disruptor, which means that it can mimic hormones, primarily estrogen. I think those usually do, which is obviously not good if you even have a slight hormone issue. Like, you don't want to overdo that. You want to be careful with what you put in and on your body, basically, because it can affect you over time if you're not careful. Anyway, it's got like several different types of dimethicone. It's got a lot of different skin conditioners, which is the whole hydration and care thing. But I do not like that at the top of it there's the dimethicone, which could be a potential disruptor of different things and bioaccumulative, and then you have the oxanoate, which is the UV filter, so it fills that purpose. But I think I've said before that I might just as well skip the UV filter instead of having it be toxic for me, or possibly toxic, or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. There's some tocopherol, xanthan gum. Like, they're basically stabilizers and skin conditioners, different emollients. I think there was one plant extract that I didn't know of before. Let's see. Yeah, Camellia sativa seed oil. I know that Camellia sinensis is green tea, or actually black tea as well, because that's the same plant, but Camellia sinensis is tea, so that one is somehow a little bit related to tea. Basically, it's a nice plant extract, pretty much. Okay, let's see. So it's on my skin. It's looking good, actually. I did go all over with the sponge because that's what I do, because I tend to forget while I ramble. As always with these dimethicone ones, like it looks good, like it evened out the skin as I expected. So yeah, the rest of this video will pretty much be me putting on a little bit more makeup. I have actually discovered this one after years of people on the internet talking about it, and I needed a new concealer, so I got this one, and it is pretty good, but it's not like life-changingly good. I've never actually really been into Maybelline concealers before. I've gotten a few different ones, but they're not like I said, not exactly life-changing, neither in formulation nor coverage. And as you can see, and if you watched my videos before, you know I'm not about that full coverage anyway. So this works out pretty well for me. Like it does what I want it to, and nothing less, nothing more, pretty much. And you can see, like, it does brighten, it cancels the dark circles pretty well. But then, of course, you might always also have the shape of the dark circle, which I do. Like you can actually see the shadow of the bag itself, and that's always more difficult to mask. I don't even know why I have that so much, because now I've been sleeping better. It's just like a genetic, I think. It just hangs out there underneath my eye. It doesn't really bother anyone. It's just chilling there, doing its thing. There. And these little sponges come from a brand that I found at a Swedish grocery store. They were pretty cheap. They were way cheaper than Beauty Blender, and I got 2 of these mini ones in one package. So that was a pretty good deal. I think they were about 20 kronor. Which is somewhat less than $2. So $1 a piece, pretty much. So that's nice. And this is blending out nicely, like I knew it would. Itchy. Cover up that redness and the scar on my cheek. Or chin, not cheek. The cheek is over here. You knew that, but I temporarily forgot. And this has a really nice tip, because you might have seen on this sponge, like I accidentally ripped the tip off once when I was cleaning it. And I didn't have a replacement sponge, so that happened. There we go. Putting that on. Skin is looking okay. Nothing revolutionary. The BB cream did oxidize a tiny bit. It doesn't show a lot, like on camera, because it's lighting, but it did even me out. At my job, I kind of run around a lot, so I'm gonna be flushing, and it doesn't wash me out too much. Like, it just tones down the kind of, yeah, surface level unevenness, which I don't like about my skin or complexion. Complexion, I think, is the right word. I'm also gonna try out the City Mini palette, the matte one, because I've heard good things and I want to try this one, especially what's her face? She recently did a rebrand. Taylor? Yeah, but now she's called Taylor Wynn. She talks about this quite a lot. or these palettes. So this is the matte palette, or About Matte. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go in for one of these colors. Yeah, let's just go with this one. Looks good so far. Oh, did I put... Yeah, I did put concealer on my upper eyelid. I'm not going to do anything advanced today since, like I said, I'm going to work. And kind of go for a natural look there, or people will look at me funny. There's not too much of a kick up in the pan, so that's good. On the other hand, I didn't really dig into it for that, so a little bit touch of color there. Maybe even put a little bit of a shade on my nose. I don't do nose contour, but since I put that color in my eye crease, maybe that will work. I already do have kind of a shadow underneath my lips. So yeah. That's pretty much all I wanted to do with that eyeshadow. I wanted to put a little bit in my crease, and that looks fine. So yeah, that's all right. And a little bit of mascara. Do I want to do... Yeah, I'll just do the Great Lash one. It's easy to adjust, and it doesn't really take any effort, really. It does smudge a little bit, even with the... what's it face? It does smudge with the concealer, because they tend to do that together. Since this mascara is pretty much wax-based, and the sort of hydrating ingredients in the concealer will then sort of dissolve. The emollient ingredients in the concealer will then kind of dissolve the mascara a little bit, and that's why you get smudging. Or it can be your own skin oils that also dissolve the mascara. Or maybe your tears, or just moisture. There, I've got lashes. And then, since I don't like powdering my face, it does smudge, like it's natural. Not really anything shocking for anyone. And then when you get a little bit less mascara on the wand, it takes a lot longer to build it up on the other eye, because you wiped off most of the mascara on that one eye. So I suppose you're supposed to dip, dip into that, the tube again, but palla. And that's a Swedish expression that this kind of millennials used to use when I was in like secondary school or junior high, correspondingly. And it means I don't feel like it, or I don't want to, or I don't have the energy to. Something that's kind of a bother, like, why do I have to re-dip the mascara wand to get enough mascara for both eyes from just dipping it once? Kinda. Yeah, maybe a little bit on my lower lash line. There, it's not sticking at all, pretty much. That's fine. We're not going for fashion makeup. There. Yes, hygienic, I know. A lot of people on the internet lately have said that you're just supposed to let the mascara sort of dry, then you can scratch it off. But since I don't powder my face, the mascara sort of sets into the creamy stuff and then you can't really scratch it off. Let's try that here. Oh, see, it just smudges. So then, at least if I take a little bit on my own spit, I can just wipe it away easier. Spit, nature's makeup remover. Don't quote me on that. That's gross. And we have a face. All right, that's kind of presentable. I need to do something about my hair though. So that's it. I will check back with at the end of the day, closer to midnight probably, about the state of my makeup. But it does look pretty good. Now to begin with, eye bags. Like I said, it's nothing revolutionary. Then again, I don't use a whole lot because I think that looks cakey and weird when you're not having a thick base. So yeah, and also I do have some little wrinkles and it tends to settle in those, the fine lines, so it doesn't look great if you have too much concealer on, you know. Anyway, so I'll be back with updates about how the state of my makeup is after work, and I will see you then. And in my final conclusion that I'll probably film tomorrow. All right, see you then. All right, so here's my face about 7 hours later. It's a 5-6 hour work shift. As you might hear, I'm really tired. The BB cream stayed pretty well. It doesn't look bad at all. I have this, as usual, a little crease on my forehead, but it hasn't settled in it that I can see. So let me check. Nope, it looks fine. Hasn't settled really around my nose or anything. Hasn't broken up either. Like it's a decent BB cream. Like it hasn't itched. It doesn't feel like I have much on my skin at all, which technically I don't, but like some of them you can feel them even though they're even though you barely put any on. So this one is really nice since you can't really feel it, but the skin feels hydrated but not tacky. So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good one. I'll get back to you tomorrow with my final thoughts and conclusions. Hello! It's actually 2 days later because that's how I roll. Family came over during daytime yesterday, so I couldn't really film because I kind of like the daylight filming situation. Even if maybe nobody else does, I don't know. I do look very, very pale, but I'm not hating it. Or perhaps that's just what I look like in the viewfinder. I don't know. Not a viewfinder. It's just a little display on the camera. I'm not rich enough for a viewfinder yet. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, this BB cream from IsaDora. It's decent. Like, it doesn't itch at all. It doesn't feel like you're wearing a lot on your skin. Oh, and I am wearing it today. A little bit of a thicker layer than I did the first day I tried it. It didn't rub off during work. It still looked fine when I came back home after a rather intense day at work. So yeah, it works. I don't know how long lasting it is, but it didn't look bad to me anyway. I probably wouldn't wear it to like the gym and sweating like that, but I mean, for everyday wear, it works fine. it's your standard dimethicone fragrance-free BB cream with SPF, which is actually my biggest problem with it. I would prefer if they could do the SPF as titanium dioxide or zinc oxide, because those are not as bad for you as the chemical sunscreens, like the oxanoate and all those. Also, we don't really know what those do in the water, while we can sort of at least predict what the titanium dioxide and zinc oxide do. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on the matter. Anyway, it's a decent BB cream. It's I'd say a 4, since it doesn't break me out like the fragrance. It doesn't smell a lot at all, really. It doesn't have, yeah, it works. It's fine. It's not a best, and it's definitely not a Detest, so it's a 4 out of 5. Alright, if you'd like to watch any other BB cream videos, I have a whole playlist of those, and I have just filmed myself putting on this face of makeup. If you'd like to watch that, I have a video over there, I think I might put it. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, and please come back if you liked this. If you watched this far, I suppose you did, so thank you. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next video.